What's happening, guys? Silent Mike, Super Training Gym, Mark Bell's Powercast, HowMuchYouBench.net, Reebok1.com. I saw you guys saw that. Tag still on the hat, keeping it fresh, white. I'll probably never wear this out, but it's great for videos. Let's get started. Another Q&A. Instagram, Silent Mike with 2 Ks. Snapchat, Silent MIK, the number 3. If you guys want to stay updated. Question number 1: pizza or donuts? I believe I saw earlier it said pizza or hamburgers, which I believe is a better question because why not have pizza and donuts? It's kind of stupid. You would typically have both: dinner, dessert, lunch, dessert, breakfast. Breakfast makes sense. Cold pizza is a breakfast food. Hot pizza is a lunch and dinner food, for those that did not know. But pizza hamburger is a real fucking dilemma. In my case, I gotta go pizza, hands down. How do I become shredded like Bart Kwan? I'm not sure, and I'm not sure I'm supposed to let any of this out, but Bart Kwan told me this top secret is chicken katsu. Chicken katsu will get you jacked and shredded like Mr. Bart Kwan. Hey, Silent Mike, a bunch of exclamation points. Any tips on how to explode out of the hole for squats? 2 things that have helped me. Pause squats have helped me. Pausing in the hole and not rebounding, so you pause and come straight up. Sub-maximal weights. Another thing is just sub-maximal weight training. Something Dr. Fred Hatfield did for a long time. Called it compensatory acceleration training, CAT training. But using lightish weights, 70 to 85%, and just thinking and moving as fast as you can with those weights. Those have helped me be a little bit more explosive. What motivates you to keep going? I don't know what motivates me. I don't know what inspires me. I try to find inspiration, motivation everywhere I can. But what motivates me to keep going is I guess there's just no other answer, man. There's nothing else to do but to do it. Nothing to it but to do it, I believe Ronnie Coleman said. I just do. Inch by inch, day by day, mission by mission, project by project. You just do. And then hopefully the best comes out of it. If not, try to be contagious and have some fun along the way. Tips on weight loss plateau. How I do weight loss, fat loss, muscle gain, anything is try to be as systematic as you can. So it's step by step. First, I take away a little bit of calories. Once I plateau, I add a little bit of cardio. Once I plateau, I take a little bit of calories away again. Once I plateau, I do a little bit more cardio. So once you go step by step, you'll always have somewhere to go. If you start off by dropping your calories to 1,100 a day and doing 5 days of cardio, once you plateau, you're gonna be really screwed because then you're gonna be eating, what, 800 calories? That's just not healthy. It's just not the way to do it. And doing cardio 7 days a week, not the way to do it. So just step by step, slowly take away the layers. Same with strength gain. You're not just gonna hop in the gym and start hitting 1 rep maxes. But if you do 300 for a 3x3, then once that gets easy enough, 305 for a 3x3, etc., down the lane, that 1 rep max, this foundation of layers is going to build up to that 1 rep max. Can I successfully cut without counting macros? Counting macros, flexible dieting, all of that is pretty popular because it works, because it's science, because it's, like I said, a systematic way to do these things. But no. There's millions of ways to lose weight. Do I believe that's one of the best, easiest, most systematic ways out there? Yes. But can you be systematic with the amount of food you eat, which is basically the same thing, just skipping steps. So you could eat 5 meals of 4 ounces of chicken and 1 cup of rice. This is going to get a little bit of mathy for you guys. Yeah, you can. So then from there, when you plateau, you take away 1 cup of rice a day. Something like that. I mean, I'm making this shit up. But then you're doing 4 cups of rice a day and 5 servings of 4 ounces of chicken. That's a mouthful of math. But then you systematically take these layers away, same idea. Or maybe you go and you cut your carbs out. So you're eating no carbs a day, just fat and protein. From that point, you're doing no cardio. Once you plateau, you add a little bit of cardio. Once you plateau, you hit a little more cardio. Something of that nature. There are ways. A lot of people do it. It's going to depend on what works for you physically and mentally because we're all just genetically put together a little bit different. You know what I mean? Finally, someone asking a question that they know is deep to my heart and actually I care about. Most of these questions, clearly, they're for you guys to try to help you guys out with the knowledge I've learned and pass it along. But finally, someone cares about me. Let's talk about caffeine. One of my favorite things on the planet. How does your caffeine intake happen on meet day? On meet day, typically, warming up squats, about a half an hour before I warm up squats, boom, caffeine dose, bang. I'll kind of sip that through warm-ups, then I'll chill. chill again. Sometimes I'll do caffeine for bench, but not often. It's just something I don't have to get as fired up about. So then I do a big meal after squat, chill, bench. The whole time in between, I got these highs and lows. So I go into the gym, I'm listening to Boys to Men. Then it's time to warm up squats. We turn on some 2 Chainz, some Rick Ross, and Caffeinate. Then after the squat, after we smash a PR on June 12th, then we start going back down again. Once we start going back down again, it's back to Boys to Men, maybe some reggae, maybe some Lauryn Hill. Then we bench, no caffeine, so maybe we're about here, but then we smash a big PR on June 12th. So then it's like this. Then we keep going ahead and back down this way, Boys to Men. What else do we got? Maybe some Ursher thrown in there. Keith Sweat. Keith Sweat's my boy. Start going like this. And then we'll start caffeinating pretty hard for the deadlift because this one's going to go like this in June 12th. Big PR coming. Here's the question of pizza and burgers. I heard that earlier. What else we got? How many times a week would you recommend a beginner performs each lift? Often beginners can train, around 80% of their 1 rep max and do it more often than an advanced. 80% for a world record holder is 800 pounds. You just can't handle that every day of the week. But a beginner who benches or squats 225 can probably handle 80% quite a bit. So for practice sake, for honing in your technique sake, I say squats anywhere from 2 to 4 times a week. Bench 2 to 4 times a week. Deadlift maybe 1 to 2 times a week. Trying to hone in that skill, just trying to get better. The Spurs will beat the Warriors in the playoffs in how many games? We all know that matchup is going to happen. I don't know when this video is going to release, but I agree that probably will happen. I wanted it to be Warriors-Cavs in the finals, but it's probably going to be Spurs-Cavs. Spurs over the Warriors in 5, and then Cavs over the Spurs in 6. You heard it here first, folks. When things don't go your way in the gym or in business or anything else, how do you refocus and keep pushing? That's a really good question, man. It may sound like redundant coming from me, but I try to stay as positive as possible. I try to think about the best outcomes, the worst outcomes. I try to think of the different paths I could take when things are going shit. Whether it's, like you said, relationships, work, school, family, anything like that. We all are going to go through hard times and we're all going to go through good times. I read on Twitter, someone said, it's a bad day, it's not a bad life. That's a great fucking quote. Bad day, not a bad life. If you just keep going inch by inch, focusing on that positivity, focusing on what's next, focusing on the task at hand in front of you. Sometimes we get a vision of all this, and all this can cloud what is happening right here. So all this really can become, maybe not always negative, but it's always overwhelming. Like, oh shit, what am I gonna do over here? What am I gonna do over here? What's over here? But if you focus right here, and just over time, layer this, I think that's the best way to go about it. And I try to be contagious. If you can be contagious, if you can focus on others less than yourself, all this out here is yourself. This is my future. This is my bank account. This is my fun. This is my this. This is my car. This is my... If you start focusing here, the people you're with, the things you're doing, I think a lot of good can come from that. Focusing on the effect you have on others, the effect you have on this planet, that's probably the way to go about it. End this one on a deep one. Silent Mike, I'm out here. Appreciate it, guys.
Let's go!